when I saw it looked so simple, I thought, well, how can this possibly help? But
yeah, that's common.
that day when I showed up here, I did have a bit of a headache. So
that's right.
by the time I left, it was like gone away. I thought, oh, this is a bit strange. Maybe it's one of those things when you come and it's a new thing and it just goes away. So
like a placebo.
Yeah.
And so, roughly how many times have you used the stopper now?
Well, it was funny because after that first time I used it, then I didn't have it for a few days, and I thought, oh, what is going on here? Like, is that like, like this is unusual for me? And then like, I would basically use it once a week. It was strange. So a month later, I probably used it 4 or 5 times, which was unbelievable. Like I've never, had less migraines in the last 27 years. So I had like 5 headaches in a month. And the thing is, once I used the Migraine Stopper, it was like, I would use it and I didn't have to take any tablets, which was another amazing thing. I'm genuinely a skeptic person for new gadgets and all that stuff, and I usually don't use stuff as well, like I just try something once and toss it to the side. This was because I was so desperate, like nothing was helping me on the market. Whatever existed wasn't helping, and it was really sad that I had to send my kids to school with tablets. They hide the tablets at school because they're not allowed to take them to school. So like I was willing to give it a go because I was desperate, but I am so glad that I did, because it's the best thing ever that I've discovered. And anybody who has a headache would be crazy not to try this, who suffers from migraines. Like, really give it an honest go, because it does help. Like it helped us, it helped my family. My girls will not be having 27 years of migraines now because of this. They'll be able to stop it.
Yes, I was surprised that the Migraine Stopper turned off my migraines. And after being on the clinical trial for a little while, I also found that it reduced the frequency of my migraines. I used to get maybe 3 or 4 a month, and now it's probably 1 or 2 a year, and I can control those.
All right, Lisa, so you just had your first experience with the Migraine Stopper.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened.
It was so cool. It was an instant relief, and it just felt like this pressure of the migraines just kind of dropped, and I could hear better. I probably couldn't really see better, but it felt like I could see better.
And so you actually have a prodrome right now.
Yeah.
So that kind of feeling where you're not quite right and you might get a migraine.
Yeah.
And you start with the left ear, and what did you notice when you started with the left ear?
So it was quite, first it was quite just easy actually finding the pressure point. It was a bit too easy.
Yeah.
And as I was doing it, it was just instantly after, I think we started with 10, and then
yes.
And then we went on after the first round of 20. It was just this whole other feeling. When I took it out, it felt like I'd been in a meditative state as I was doing it, and just afterwards it felt like I was, like you said, that I was talking clearer, and
you were,
and that I was actually observing what I was doing and what environment I was in, and I wasn't in this daze that I'd been seeing before.
That's right.
And then as I kept on going, it was just like the pressure was dropping from my head and from my neck, and from just the tension of the migraine. It was just dropping down, and it felt like it disappeared. It was like swallowing the migraine.
Yeah, well, your whole posture did change during
Yeah.
it, from like kind of gothic with your shoulders up,
Yeah.
and your head forward, and you just totally relaxed.
Yeah.
And are you surprised by what happened?
Yeah, I'm so surprised.
And how long have you been suffering migraines?
Since well, for a long time I've had normal migraines, but I've had chronic migraines like 20 times a month since June 2015.
Awesome.
So if this keeps working, then that's a game changer.
Great, thank you very much. Okay, Ruth, so welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been almost 12 months since you've been using the Migraine Stopper, and what's been happening?
I don't get migraines. Simple as that.
Wow.
I get the early signs, the warning signs, use the stopper, and that's it. End of story.
Perfect. So let's say for the last 6 months, have you had any migraines that you were unable to stop?
No.
Perfect. And have you found the earlier you get it, the better the device is?
Absolutely. If I am aware of the warning signs, which usually I am,
And what are your warning signs?
It's often a feeling of nausea, a headache, a sensitivity to light and sound, but they never ever develop now.
Perfect. And your old history from memory was a couple of months,
Yes,
most months?
basically, yes.
And then you could have bad months when you get more than that, is that correct?
Yes,
Perfect. Now you said there's been a lot of stress in your family lately.
yes.
What does that normally do to your migraines?
I would get more migraines.
So do you feel the frequency has decreased from
Yeah.
using the stopper?
Absolutely, yes.
What would you guess? How much?
I've had a couple, 2 or 3 in the space of a few days, but then nothing for at least 2 months.
Wow.
Maybe more.
And 2 months or more, is that an unusual break from your migraines?
Yes.
Excellent. And the 2 or 3 that you did have, you were able to turn those off?
Yes.
And what kind of impact has this had on your life now, like 12 months later?
I don't miss out on life in general. Don't miss out on any activities that I want to be part of. Going out to dinner, socialising. I don't spend days in bed. It's just generally, and the other important thing is I haven't had to take any drugs of any sort.
That's right. So what was your medication regime before the stopper?
I've tried a few things. Most of them didn't really work, unless it was something that knocked me out.
Right.
Sleep was has always been the best.
So when's the last time you took medication for your migraines?
Nearly 12 months ago.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It
and,
is.
Yeah, and would you recommend the stopper to other migraine sufferers?
Absolutely. I've already told people to just keep a watch for when it comes on the market.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Ruth. Good to see you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.